These are our table of contents.
Hello Dr. Azlin, I am NURUL Asyura and I will present question 2. Elon Enterprise bonds currently sell for $1,150 have an 10% coupon interest rate and the par value is $1,000. The pay interest annually and have 18 years to mature. Alright, so we're moving on to the question A. Question A asks us to calculate the bond's current yield. Okay, the formula that I use to calculate the bond's current yield is annual coupon divided by the current bond price. Okay, the given annual interest payment in this question is 10%. So I take the 10% times of $1,000 and I get $110 for the annual interest payment. And then the current market price is $1,150. So we can calculate the bond's current yield, which is 110 divided by the 1,150. And I get the answer, which is 0.0957. So I convert to the percent and then I get the answer, which is 9.57% for the bond's current yield. Moving on to the question B, calculate the bond's yield to maturity YTM. Okay, so to find the YTM, I use Excel and also this formula to get the exactly value of YTM. Okay, so the face value of bond that given in this question is $1,000. The annual coupon rate is 10%. The number of years in maturity is 18 years. The price of bond is $1,150 and the last one is annual coupon is $110. Okay, so I use the Excel and fill the values and I get the answer, which is 9.46% for the YTM. Next, question C. Compare the YTM calculated in part B to the bond's coupon interest rate and the current yield in part A. Use a comparison of the bond's current price and par value to explain these differences. Firstly, the coupon interest rate is 11%. The current yield is approximately 9.57% and the YTM is approximately 9.95%. So, the current yield is lower than the coupon interest rate because the bond is selling at a premium, which is $1,150 is more larger than $1,000. And the last one, the YTM is higher than the current yield because it takes into account the capital gain or loss upon maturity and considering the difference between the purchase price and the par value.
Assalamualaikum and a good morning, Doctor. I'm JOHARI and I'm going to present question 3. So here it asks for calculate total returns for bond A and bond B, and for second question is which bond have higher total return. So now to tackle the first question, I'll be starting the calculation with bond A semi-annual. And the first step is to compute total coupon payment plus interest or interest based on the assumed reinvestment rate using the following formula. And this is semi-annual. So some of the data in the formula need to be divided and to be multiplied by 2. And I jot down all of the data from the statement questions and the answer is $291.76. Okay, now let's calculate step 2, which need to be determine the projected sales price at the end of the planned investment horizon. And as you can see here, I stated 2 type of calculation which can be calculated using financial calculator. But for me, I using the Excel and double check with my financial calculator answer. So with Excel, we're using the formula of PV and as stated, and the answer is $1,368.82. Continue is step 3, which is just add on the answer in step 1, and step 2, which is resulted to $1,660.58. And we'll continue with the last step, which is to obtain the semi-annual total return. So we just jot down and using the formula, and it stated that N is the total number of semi-annual periods, and it is 14, which can already been calculated in previous step, and the answer resulted to 3.89%. However, as this bond is semi-annual and the interest is also being paid semi-annually, we need to double up the interest rate, which is using the answer in step 4, which is 3.89%, and multiply by 2 and you will get 7.78%. Okay, now let's proceed with bond B, which is annual. The calculation is kind of similar with bond A, but then bond A is semi-annual. So we'll start with the step 1, which is compute the total coupon payment plus interest on interest based on assumed reinvestment rate using the formula. And as calculated in the table, and using the formula, we jot down all of the data from the question and resulted to $206. And then we need to proceed with step 2, which is determine the project sale price at the end of the planned investment horizon. And like I stated before, there's 2 calculations you can use, which is using the Excel and the financial calculator. And I'm using Excel, using the formula PV, insert the data, and I double check with my financial calculator answer, which is resulted to $987.67. So for step 3, just add on the values computed in step 1 and step 2 and resulted to $1,193.67. And in step 4, we need to obtain the annual total return using the formula. And we jot down all of the data and it resulted to 8.32%. So the conclusion, we can say that bond A earned 7.78 total return from purchasing $972.94 and sell it at the price of $1,660.58, while bond B earned 8.32 total return from purchasing $939.25 and sell it at the price of $1,193.67. So we can see that bond B have higher total return, which is 8.32. That's all from me. Thank you.
Moving on to the last question, question 4. Cite major shortcomings for each following fixed income yield measures. So firstly, current yield, which is it ignores time value of money. The current yield only considers the coupon payments in relation to the current market price of the bond. Next, it also does not account for changes in market price, which is it doesn't reflect any changes in the bond's price that may occur over time. Okay, the next point is yield to maturity. Since yield to maturity makes assumptions about the future, there is chance that the bond issuer may default and investors will not be able to reinvest all of the coupons and the bond will not be held to maturity. And the last point is realized compound yield, which is a constant reinvest assumption. We also know that compound yield relies on the assumptions that coupon payments are reinvested at the bond's yield to maturity, which is YTM, consistently throughout the investment period. So this assumption may not align with actual reinvestment opportunities available to investors and potentially leading to inaccuracies in yield calculations. The last one is interest rate volatility, which is realized compound yield does not factor in changes in interest rate over the investment horizon. So the fluctuations in the interest rate can impact the reinvestment of coupon payments and the realized yield, and also making it less reflective of the true return experienced by the investors. That's all from us, Group 2. Thank you for listening.